Hi, Jenay. Okay, so that handout that you showed me a picture of, the first problem on there was asking for the name of SRBR2, and then the next three problems had different kinds of naming, so I thought that I would discuss naming in general. So naming in general can be divided into these four different types, and you'll notice that 1, 2, 3 of those types are ionic, one is covalent. So when you have something covalent, then you put the atom name and the other atom name. Remember that hydrogen turns into hydride whenever it forms, whenever it combines with another atom to form a molecule. And then if I have a 6 here, I'm going to put hexa in front of carbon, and an 8 here means I'm going to put octa in front of hydride. So don't forget your table that has all those prefixes. Mono is 1 and di is 2, etc. Also, don't forget that if your first atom has a subscript of 1, you don't put mono. We wouldn't say monocarbon. But so that's covalent. You've got your prefixes, you've got your atom names, and your second atom name ends in IDE. And remember the rule of thumb about how these elements will be about 4 steps away from each other on the periodic table, and that's how you can tell they're covalent. Or you can look at your electronegativity chart, and if the electronegativity difference between them is 0.5 or less, then it's covalent. But so now ionic. So this is what your question asked, and it's the first and simplest kind of ionic. So I've got SR, that's strontium. I've got BR, that's bromine. But whenever bromine joins up in a union with strontium, he changes his last name from bromine to bromide. So strontium bromide. I noticed some of the answers in your multiple choice had had Roman numeral 3 and stuff like that. Well, strontium doesn't live in that mattress of the periodic table. It doesn't live where the transitional elements do. So that's why it's not that. Strontium lives in the second group, or the second column. That's the alkaline earth metals, and they all have 2 valence electrons that get snatched away from them, and so their charge is usually +2. Okay, so the next kind of ionic we can have, look, it's the same cation. She's still the same, strontium, but they can throw a polyatomic ion in there. So don't forget your lists of polyatomics. So poly means many. So when many atoms get together and make an ion, remember ion's a charged atom, then you've got a polyatomic. So this whole thing, I don't know if you can tell, I've colored it yellow around it. That is considered all at once together. It's its own unit. So we've got strontium and we've got carbonate. Strontium carbonate. That's how you name that guy. And I should go backwards here in a minute and go from name to symbol, but for now we'll go from symbol to name. Okay, so the most complicated one, I was trying a new thing, and I'm not sure how happy I feel about with this explanation, so I have one on the next page. But ionic. So remember the mattress of the periodic table where the transition metals are? Iron is one of those, and it can have a charge of +2 or +3. So we've got 2 irons and 3 oxygens together, Fe2O3. So I've got 2 irons, I don't know what its charge is, and then I have it set equal to 3 oxygens, and I know oxygen's charge is -2 because it lives in group 6. They have 6 valence electrons, and so they want to get 2 more to fill their octet. So 3 times -2 is -6. So that tells me that this side wants to be +6. So I'm treating it kind of like an equation. So if this whole side wants to be positive 6, we divide it by 2 and we get positive 3. So iron 3 bromide, or oxide. Like I said, I'm not super happy with this explanation, so I have done a separate one over here. Okay, so iron bromide. So we've got 1 iron and we've got 2 bromines. So this time I've done it, so we've got our 1 iron and we don't know what its charge is, and we have our 2 bromines and we know its charge is -1. 2 times -1 is -2, so this side has to be +2. +2 divided by 1 is +2. So iron's charge here is +2, and you know what? I didn't write out what it's called. It is, ooh, it's hard to videotape and write at the same time. Iron 2 bromide. Okay, I hope this helps a little bit. I think that I may be posting some more examples here in a bit.